Hello, it's Mr. Townsend here. In this video, I'm going to go over the properties of light. So if you've ever been interested to understand what light is, just watch this quick video to unpack some of the major properties of light. Light is part of the electromagnetic spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum is a whole range of a type of energy called radiation, electromagnetic radiation, that ranges from gamma rays that are very high energy electromagnetic radiation all the way down to radio waves that are a low energy electromagnetic radiation. Now, high energy gamma rays can be very damaging to humans, so can X-rays or ultraviolet rays. Other rays on the other side, like infrared, that's the type of radiation that heats us up, or radio waves that we can use to communicate, are not so dangerous to us. But right in the middle of ultraviolet rays and infrared rays is visible light. And that is the electromagnetic radiation, or the part of the spectrum of electromagnetic radiation that we can see with our eyes. So light is the part of the spectrum, and light has, the visible light is made up of a range of different colors all the way from red down to violet. Okay, another interesting property about light is that it can travel through a vacuum. So what do we mean by that? If we went into outer space, there is no matter at all. There are no atoms, there are no particles. But light can travel through from the sun all the way to the earth without going through any particles. Now, that's an interesting phenomena of light, because other things like sound can't travel through a vacuum, but light can travel through a vacuum. That's very important, because if it couldn't travel through a vacuum, we would never get the light from the sun reaching the earth. Okay, so here this picture shows an example of a property of light. Light travels in straight lines. Now what I mean by that is that the light will hit these people here that are holding up obviously some cutouts, and it will travel straight through the holes in the cutout, but it will be stopped by the cardboard. Now, because the light travels in straight lines, you can see the sharp differences between the places where the light hits the ground and the light doesn't hit the ground and forms a shadow. So shadows are formed because light travels in straight lines, and objects can stop light from hitting the ground or wherever else a shadow is shown, or if there is no object in the way, it lets the light through. Another property of light is that it can be absorbed or reflected. Now we can see the picture of some netball players here with black singlets on, and you can see that the light is being absorbed. We can't see light coming off behind them or on their singlets, so that's one property of light. And if we look at the picture on the right, we can see that that peak is reflected on the surface of the water. So that's a second property of light, this idea that light can either be absorbed, taken in, and not given back out again, or it can be reflected, bounced back. Another interesting property of light is it travels so fast. Light travels at 300,000 kilometers per second. So you have to stop and think about that. So if you were thinking about the radius of the Earth, which is about 6,700 kilometers. So the circumference of the Earth would be about 6 times that, maybe 40,000 kilometers, the circumference of the Earth. So the circumference of the Earth is about 40,000 kilometers, but light travels at 300,000 kilometers. So the light would travel around the Earth, or circle the Earth, about 8 times in 1 second. It travels very, very fast. So we often use light to communicate, or forms of electromagnetic radiation to communicate because it's so fast. However, light takes 8 minutes and 19 seconds to come from the sun to the earth because the sun is so far away. So light travels incredibly fast, so fast we don't recognize that it's actually moving in our everyday life. But once we get into vast distance, like the 150 million kilometers that the earth is from the sun, we can actually time how long it takes the sun to reach the earth, and it is 8 minutes and 19 seconds because it's traveling at 300,000 kilometers per second. Okay, so these two pictures shows that light can be distorted as it moves from different mediums. Now the word medium means it's the type of matter that light can travel through. Remember earlier I said light can travel through a vacuum, it doesn't need matter. But some matter it can travel through, that's called a medium. If you move between two different mediums, in this case on the left you can see there are three mediums shown. There's the medium of air on the outside of the glass, there is the glass, and there is the water. As the light moves between those mediums, it bends. There's a scientific name for that word, it's refracts. Look on the picture on the right, you can see that the people's bodies are distorted because the light as it comes out of the water again bends, it refracts. And that's another property that light has. So the last property we're going to talk about here of light is it is a form of energy. So on the left we can see there is a solar panel. Because light is a form of energy, we can use the solar panel to collect that energy from light and turn it into electrical energy. So we can have a transformation from light energy to electrical energy. On the right we can see here are some cell phones. Within a cell phone we have another transformation happening. We have chemical potential energy in the battery turning into electrical energy and then into light energy in the screen. So this displays that light is a form of energy. So what are the properties of light one more time that we need to remember? Light is electromagnetic radiation. It has some properties similar to waves. Light travels in straight lines. Light travels at 300,000 kilometers per second. Light can be absorbed or reflected. Light can be bent, refracted, as it moves between mediums. And light is a form of energy. I hope this has given you an introduction to the properties of light. Watch the other videos to find out more detail about how light behaves.